experienced the sense of humiliation I'd felt when my middle school teacher snapped my bra strap to scold me for letting it slip out from beneath my tank top. To me, girls sexualizing themselves wasn't the issue, as feminists and anti-feminists would have us believe, but shaming them was. Why were we the ones being asked to adjust, to cover up and apologize for our bodies? I was tired of feeling guilty for the way I presented myself. My perspective was the result of an adolescence filled with mixed signals related to my developing body and sexuality. At 13, I'd been confused when my father quietly suggested that I not dress like that just for tonight, when my parents and I were getting ready to go out to a nice restaurant. I looked down at the pink lacy top and push-up bra I wore. My mother always told me to take pleasure in the way I looked, and this particular ensemble brought me validating attention from both adult men on the street and my peers at school. Suddenly, I felt embarrassed by the very thing that was also a source of pride. I hadn't understood the time when my cousin, who was nearly 20 years my senior, came rushing into her living room, breathless, after leaving me alone with her male friend for a few minutes. I didn't understand what she was afraid of, although I already instinctively knew what her friend's body language meant. The way he reclined back on the couch, his hips jutting forward and his mouth forming a crooked, inviting smile. I was a child, but somehow already an expert in detecting male desire, even if I didn't completely understand what to make of it. Was it a good thing? Something to be afraid of? Something to be ashamed of? It seemed to be all these things at once. I end Baby Woman with an exchange I had with a drawing teacher after my first year of art school. As I showed him a charcoal nude of mine, he suggested, "Why not draw a woman with a waist so small she falls over and cannot stand up?" He advised me either to play into the stereotypes of the beauty standard or to show its oppression. I didn't want to believe that it was so stark, that those were my only two options. For most of my life, I thought of myself as savvy, a hustler. I understood that I had a commodifiable asset, something that the world valued, and I was proud to have built a life and career off my body. All women are objectified and sexualized to some degree, I figured, so I might as well do it on my own terms. I thought that there was power in my ability to choose to do so. Today I read that essay and look at interviews from that period of my life and feel a tenderness towards my younger self. My defensiveness and defiance are palpable to me now. What I wrote and preached then reflected what I believed at the time, but it missed a much more complicated picture. In many ways, I have been undeniably rewarded by capitalizing on my sexuality. I became internationally recognizable, amassed an audience of millions, and have made more money through endorsements and fashion campaigns than my parents, an English professor and a painting teacher, ever dreamed of earning in their lifetimes. I built a platform by sharing images of myself and my body online, making my body and subsequently my name recognizable, which, at least in part, gave me the ability to publish this book. But in other, less overt ways, I felt objectified and limited by my position in the world as a so-called sex symbol. I've capitalized on my body within the confines of a cis-hetero, capitalist, patriarchal world, one in which beauty and sex appeal are valued solely through the satisfaction of the male gaze. Whatever influence and status I've gained were only granted to me because I appealed to men. My position brought me in close proximity to wealth and power and brought me some autonomy, but it hasn't resulted in true empowerment. That's something I've gained only now, having written these essays and given voice to what I've thought and experienced. This book is full of the ideas and realities that I was unwilling to face, or perhaps incapable of facing, earlier in life. I had made a practice of dismissing experiences that were painful or incongruent with what I wanted to believe, that I was the living testament of a woman empowered through commodifying her image and body. Facing the more nuanced reality of my position was a difficult awakening, brutal and shattering to an identity and a narrative I desperately clung to. I was forced to face some ugly truths about what I understood as important, what I thought love was, what I believed made me special, and to confront the reality of my relationship with my body. I'm still grappling with how I feel about sexuality and empowerment. The purpose of this book is not to arrive at answers, but to honestly explore ideas I can't help but return to. I aim to examine the various mirrors in which I've seen myself, men's eyes, other women I've compared myself to, and the countless images that have been taken of me.